3. Acquiring true knowledge towards critical thinking. To think critically, you must have true knowledge of what critical thinking is. It is more than simply understanding a definition. It is truly the internalization of a constellation of critically thinking concepts. These concepts have a structure and a logic. In order to think critically, you must understand the structure and how the individual parts are related to one another. Now, these parts are singular. They can be defined singularly, and they are also interrelated. They affect the others. To use critical thinking to improve your own thinking, and to use it as the antidote against sophistry and manipulation, you must have authentic, true knowledge. Now think back to your classroom days. In the classroom, you were taught. The teacher stands in front of the room and lectures to you as though information can just be poured into your head. You take notes and try to commit it to memory. And then later you take a multiple choice test, get your grade, and then you move on to the next thing. But true, authentic knowledge cannot be acquired in this manner. Knowledge is only acquired through an active process of thinking through the material for yourself. It cannot be acquired in any other way. This is because knowledge itself is thinking. To claim that you can learn content without actually thinking it through, which means to relate it to what you already know, well, that's nonsensical. Now, I'm going to give you a 3-part test that will help you to achieve this authentic knowledge. Now, I use a mnemonic or a memory trick to be able to easily recall it. It's necessary that you know this true test of knowledge so that you can later ensure that you have actually learned what you need to learn in order to be a critical thinker. You will need this to test yourself. This test is how I know that I truly know what it is to be a critical thinker. I'm completely confident in this because I have thoroughly tested myself. My memory trick consists of the letters capital CSEE-I, or CI, as I like to call it. Now, authentic knowledge has depth. When you truly know something, you can clearly state what it is that you know. You can explain it clearly to someone else. Clearly stating something, that's the first part of the mnemonic. The CS stands for clearly state. It's the first part of this test of knowledge. But now, this is not enough. Besides being able to clearly state something, you must be capable of expounding upon it. So in order to expound upon something, that means that you can amplify it, go into greater detail, explain the concepts even further. Just learning a definition doesn't prove anything. It's like knowing what a spark plug looks like. If all I know is that this thing that I'm looking at is called a spark plug, I actually know very little. I know a name attached to this object. But to truly know, I must understand its function, where it fits in the engine, how it's used, and why it's important. I must be able to expound upon it. The more I can expound upon something, the deeper my knowledge extends. Expounding is the first E in my memory trick of CSEE-I, or CI. Now, clearly stating something and expounding upon something is still not quite enough to ensure that you have knowledge. You must also be able to exemplify or illustrate what it is that you know. This is the final E-I of my mnemonic CI, or CSEE-I. An ability to use an example, illustration, or an analogy to encapsulate what you know means that you understand important relationships. An example for the spark plug might be a spark plug is like an Olympic torch. Spark plug ignites the piston mixture just like the Olympic torch lights the cauldron. The spark plug wires, that's like the path that the athlete takes towards the cauldron. Just an example. So the letters capital CSEE-I SEE-I, or CI, helps you to remember the test. CS, clearly state, E, expound upon, E-I, exemplify or illustrate. When you can CI something, when you can clearly state a topic, expound upon it, come up with examples or illustrations that show relationships, then you have confidently acquired knowledge to the degree equal to your capability to do this. That is the true test of authentic knowledge. In the next presentation, the fourth of this series of 34, I am going to share with you the source of this valuable information on critical thinking. I want to give these people full credit and encourage you to study and support their important work.